The non-aligned movement started years back when there was stiff rivalry between the Eastern Bloc and the Western Bloc. And, when a number of African countries started getting independence, the United States and her allies, or the Western Bloc, was in competition with the Eastern Bloc or the Soviet Union to influence the new leadership that was coming up as African countries got independence. And they set up the non-aligned movement to ensure that countries focused on their own interests as opposed to being involved or being caught between the conflicts between the West and the East. And while that was the case, the truth of the matter is that this movement, NAM as they call it, was more aligned to the East than being in the middle. I don't think it is true that it was non-aligned, because especially the pioneers of the movement, I think it was President Tito of the former Yugoslavia. Of course, Tito became president of Yugoslavia because of the Soviet Union. And a number of the leftist countries, if you want, people like countries like Egypt under Nasser, these were very strong, participants in the NAM. So while they called it non-aligned movement, I think it was aligned to the East. So it was impactful during the days of the Cold War. I think the Cold War still exists, but it isn't as formalized as it was during the days of the Soviet Union. But after the Soviet Union was dismantled, the rivalry, while it still exists, the Cold War, it is not as prominent. NAM is not as prominent as it was during those days of the former Cold War. And that's what I know about the non-aligned movement. Uganda's challenge has to do with efficient management of public affairs. Uganda has the habit of not planning effectively. Let me give you a simple example that will bring this out. During the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in 2007, they tried to, what they called, beautify Entebbe Road. And they planted trees along the route from Entebbe to Kampala. And they planted trees right under the electricity cables. Right under the electricity cables. I think there is a special line which goes to the State House and the airport. It is got metallic steel.
That would be obvious that this tree will have to grow.
Yes, they planted them right under the wires. And in 2 years they cut them. I think in 2010. No, I think it was 2008, 9, they started cutting them. The electricity people started cutting those trees. Now,
and for them, they were doing actually the right thing.
Because the trees were they had grown up and they were going to interfere with the transmission of electricity. It was even dangerous, could kill people. So you sit down and think, who did this? Why should anyone think about beautification of a road or planting trees, and you did right under cables, live electricity cables? Who on earth does that? But that's what they did. And this time round, for example, I'm going to give you a simple example. I saw that the delegates are going to visit some places of interest. Bulange is cited as one of them, the headquarters of the Kingdom of Buganda, and Kasubi Tombs. Nobody has talked to me about delegates visiting Bulange. So this week, on Monday, when I was working out with my staff, because we work out in the evening, I was working out, and then I see police cars with flashes and sirens bring delegates to Tuabulangi. I was in my my workout outfit, all sweat and everything. There was no one to receive these delegates because nobody told us. They just drove in here. And then on Friday, some police chief went to Kasubi Tombs. Kasubi Tombs are closed because we are nearing completion of the restoration of the tombs. So they are closed to the public. But we thought we could open them for the, especially high-profile guests. But it was a police chief who went to the people who are at the tombs and said, we are bringing presidents to look at the tombs. And they didn't know what to do. They called us. What do we do now? Nobody has talked to us that we want, yes, that we want to bring delegates to Kasubi Tombs to savor the heritage which is characteristic of Kasubi Tombs. So the planning is always mediocre. Now that's the challenge. That's why even the follow-ups are also mediocre. But the opportunities do exist if we planned properly, if we implemented effectively, and if we efficiently did follow-ups. Now, that could be what is lacking. And that's what needs to be addressed.
Effective.
You must plan properly, you must implement effectively, and you must, follow up efficiently. By the way, this has very little to do with visitors. This is the way you handle matters of administration. Anything you do, you must have a plan.
Continuously.
Yeah, you must have a plan. You must have methods of implementing the plan, and you must evaluate the implementation of the plan. Those are the follow-ups. But, opportunities don't land like the rain. You create circumstances which enable opportunities to come your way. If we want to get benefits from the conferences we are hosting, then we must prepare ourselves. It won't just come as rain.
Read the opportunities, then prepare accordingly.
Absolutely. So those are the challenges I think that we face, and somebody in government should address them. I think since we are talking about the non-aligned movement, we shouldn't talk about Muganda. We should talk about Ugandans.
Yes. The Uganda is Uganda.
Of course. Well, engagement is always beneficial. Countries need to engage other countries on a number of issues. And engagement brings exposure. And exposure brings opportunities, because when people get to know you, they realize the opportunities that exist in a country. And these opportunities could come in different forms. The opportunities could come in forms of tourism. People get to know about the country. Whenever somebody is going to a country they don't know, they try to find out areas of interest. Anyone who travels, when you go into another country, you want to find out areas of interest. And I'm sure many of the delegates have discovered the areas of interest. And that could be in the area of tourism. And tourism is a cash cow if we knew how to market what we have to offer. Then there could be investments. For example, if I were one of the delegates, I would have realized that Kampala, the capital city of Uganda, doesn't have a public transport system. It doesn't have a reliable, efficient, or organized public transport system. And there are lots of monies to be made from the public transport system if you plan effectively, if you plan properly and you implement effectively. That's an opportunity people could have realized. I'm sure every delegate has realized that Uganda has possibly the best weather in the world, with lush vegetation everywhere you look, with a mild temperature. There are lots of things that can arise from that. If you want to invest in agriculture, I think merely visiting Uganda for a week or two It can, you know, trigger something in somebody's mind who is interested in investing in agriculture. Even if you are not coming here to cultivate any crops, to grow any crops, you can come to buy fruits. Uganda has the sweetest pineapple in the world. I've eaten pineapples all over the world. I've never once eaten a pineapple as tasty as ours, or even bananas, the yellow bananas, Bogoya and Indizi. I think Uganda has the sweetest bananas in the world, or even avocados. So there's so many things. So this engagement comes with opportunities. But also the people to learn about other people.
That's the exposure bit.
That's the exposure bit. When you go to a country where people throw glances at you, you can become nervous. Do I want to be in this country? Do I want to business in this country? Do I want to come to this country for a holiday? But Ugandans have a way of dealing with the challenges we have, and they easily relate with strangers. That alone is an opportunity we have. So, all in all, when you get delegates coming here, you get engagement with different people, you get exposure, and that exposure is going to bring opportunity.